Chosen one, listen carefully. An angel with a sword has been sent not to harm, but to sever the secret ties that still bind your heart to what no longer belongs to you. You didn't come across this message by accident. Heaven has been guiding your steps long before you even realized you were being led. There has been a quiet stirring inside you, an invisible unrest pressing against your chest, a tension you can't explain. The nights have grown heavier, and the silence around you no longer feels empty. It feels charged, alive, as if something is approaching. Sometimes, a name rises inside you without warning. A moment flashes through your mind. You tell yourself it's just memory, emotion, or longing, but your soul knows better. This isn't nostalgia. This is preparation. Something sacred is awakening in the atmosphere around you, and heaven is aligning everything for a shift that can no longer be delayed. As C.S. Lewis wrote in Letters to Malcolm, chiefly on prayer, we may ignore, but we can nowhere evade, the presence of God. The world is crowded with him. He walks everywhere incognito. This truth underscores the divine orchestration of this moment. The stirring in your chest, the charged silence, the flashes of intuition, they are not mere coincidences, but God's presence moving incognito, preparing you for a revelation that is already on its way. There is a moment unfolding in the unseen. It's been building quietly like a storm on the edge of your awareness, and now it's nearing your door. This isn't just a season shift, it's a divine reckoning, not to punish but to uncover, not to wound but to release. The pain you carried in silence, the betrayal you felt but couldn't prove, the heaviness that has stalked your peace, God saw it all. And heaven, in its justice, has decided that the time for silence is over. A truth is on its way to your doorstep. A message, a voice, a revelation you won't need to chase it. It's already been dispatched. And though it may arrive wearing the form of heartbreak, do not be afraid. You are not being set up to fall, you are being prepared to rise. This is the moment your spirit has been sensing for weeks, maybe even months. That weight in your chest, that restlessness in your prayers, that sudden emotional flash when nothing obvious triggered it, those weren't random. They were preparing. You are not crazy. You are not overreacting. You are being readied. Because the one who caused the ache is about to be exposed not by you, but by heaven's hand. They thought time would cover what they did. They thought silence would protect their story. But truth has its own timing. And now, it's knocking. If this message stirred something in your spirit, comment 777, I receive this to align your soul with what heaven has already set in motion. You're not imagining it. You're being prepared. The truth is near, and your spirit already knows. C.S. Lewis, in The Problem of Pain, reminds us, God whispers to us in our pleasures, speaks in our conscience, but shouts in our pains. It is his megaphone to rouse a deaf world. The pain and restlessness you felt are not signs of abandonment, but God's megaphone, shouting through your struggles to prepare you for the truth that is about to break through. This divine reckoning is his response to your silent endurance, signaling that the time for clarity has arrived. There are angels surrounding your space even now. One of them carries a sword not to wound anyone, but to sever the ties that have secretly bound your heart to the past. That angel has not been sent to frighten you, but to go before you. You are not alone in this. You never were. God has watched, counted every tear, marked every moment of confusion, betrayal, and collapse, and now he is moving. He is bringing clarity where confusion lived. He is opening a door not just to reveal, but to release. You are being called out of the darkness that someone else's choices placed you in. And no matter how hard this revelation may feel in the moment, it is the beginning of your freedom. So take a deep breath, still your mind, open your spirit, because what you're about to hear, what you're about to receive, will not destroy you. It will deliver you. The truth is coming not to break your heart, but to remove the final weight from it. Something you once tried to bury is returning not to torment you, but to testify. A door in the spirit realm is about to swing open, and when it does, the truth that has long been suffocated will come walking through it. You may not know the exact hour or form it will take, but your spirit has already sensed its approach. It might come as a message you never expected, a phone call at an odd hour, a sudden confession, or even a dream that leaves you trembling. But however it comes, it will come, and it will carry a weight that forces the past into the light. What they did is no longer just a memory, it's evidence. What they said is no longer just a rumor, it's a thread being pulled by divine hands. And that thread will unravel everything they thought they had sealed shut. The person who once hurt you in silence is no longer at ease. Their sleep is being disturbed. Their chest is tightening with a pressure they can't explain. Their lips are heavy with words they're now afraid to speak, but they must, because heaven has decreed it. The silence must be broken. They are pacing, restless, afraid not of you, but of what God is requiring of them now. And make no mistake, this is not because you cursed them, prayed for revenge, or wished for their downfall. You didn't have to. The very weight of truth has risen up like a storm, and it is demanding to be heard. Their mind is filled with flashbacks, their spirit is convicted, their soul is groaning beneath what they've hidden. They cannot unsee what they did. They cannot outrun what is rising. And while they crumble under the pressure of what they refuse to confess, you, beloved, are being positioned to witness something sacred. You don't need to argue anymore. You don't need to prove what you felt, because heaven has taken your case into its own courtroom, and the verdict is already being written in light. You don't need to fight for the truth. It's already walking toward you. C.S. Lewis, in the Screwtape Letters, warns, "The safest road to hell is the gradual one, the gentle slope, soft underfoot, without sudden turnings, without milestones, without signposts." Those who caused you pain believed their silence would lead them down this gentle slope, evading accountability. But heaven's truth is a sudden turning, a divine signpost that disrupts their denial and brings justice to light, freeing you from the burden of their hidden actions. You've asked for confirmation. You've asked, was I crazy? Was it real? And now God is answering not with words, but with unveiling. The one who denied, gaslit, manipulated, or abandoned you will no longer be able to pretend. They are being summoned, not by you, but by the weight of what they tried to bury. The door is opening, and this time, they will not be able to walk through it wearing the mask they once wore. You have been protected in ways you didn't even realize. Long before the betrayal surfaced, long before the heartbreak fractured your sense of safety, heaven had already dispatched an angel to stand watch. You may not have seen it, but its presence was real, subtle, silent, stationed beside you when you felt most alone. And now, in this appointed hour of unveiling, that angel is no longer just observing. It is moving. It is standing between you and what once claimed access to your soul. And in its hand is a sword not forged of vengeance, but of holy severance. This sword is not drawn to punish the one who hurt you. It is drawn to free you from the spiritual entanglement that lingered long after the word stopped, long after the person left. Some ties are not visible, but they choke the soul. Some connections are not mutual, but parasitic, feeding off your hope, your forgiveness, your desire to understand. And now, the blade is descending not to cut flesh, but to cut the invisible lines that have kept your heart stuck in a story heaven is trying to end. You might feel it already, that strange emotional tension, that sudden heaviness in your chest for no reason, those flashes of their name or face just when you thought you had moved on. But what you're feeling isn't their presence, it's the friction of heaven slicing through the final threads. The spirit realm is pulling you apart from what once drained you. That's why the memories feel louder right now. That's why the grief suddenly resurfaces. Not because you're regressing, but because something old is being uprooted, and everything that has been embedded deeply must come out completely before the new can settle in. This angel has been placed at the threshold of your becoming. It will not allow what is unrepentant, untransformed, or unassigned to cross into your next season. This isn't rejection, it is divine protection. This is the enforcement of a boundary that God, not you, has drawn. You've cried enough, you've questioned enough, you've begged heaven for clarity, and this is your answer. Not a speech, not a reunion, but a severing. The sword is heaven's signature on the closing of this chapter. You do not need to feel guilty about what is being removed. You do not need to apologize for the peace you're being led into. The ones who left wounds never return to heal them, but that's because they were never meant to be the cure. Their silence was their answer, and heaven has decided it is enough. The sword is heaven's signature on the closing of this chapter. So do not hold on to what God is cutting away. Do not romanticize what was spiritually draining. Do not reach back into the shadows for what heaven is removing in the light. This angel is not only guarding you, it is guiding you. It is standing in front of your destiny, declaring, no more interference, no more delays, no more contamination of the chosen one. You are not being denied reconciliation. You are being granted release. You are not being asked to make peace with what hurt you. You are being invited to walk in peace away from it forever. There comes a moment in every chosen one's journey when heaven no longer allows the injustice to remain hidden. This is that moment. Not because you sought revenge, not because you cried out for vindication, but because divine order has seen enough, because righteousness demands exposure, because what was done in secret cannot remain cloaked forever, not when the chosen one carries a destiny that cannot be delayed. And now, heaven has opened its courtroom. In the spirit realm, a verdict is being handed down. A weighty silence has settled across the invisible world, not because nothing is happening, but because something irreversible is unfolding. The evidence was never forgotten. The pain you endured was never ignored. God saw the manipulation. He witnessed the betrayal. He recorded the twisting of truth, the lies that were designed to make you question your own spirit. And now, it is being brought to light not by your hands, but by divine decree. You will not have to testify. You will not have to argue your innocence. The judge has already ruled. The case is closed, and the gavel of justice has struck on your behalf. What they tried to bury is now rising to the surface, not as a rumor, not as speculation, but as undeniable truth. The people who doubted you, the ones who sided with your accuser, the ones who remained silent while you wept in confusion, they will now witness the very thing you were never able to articulate. And this is not for your ego, this is for your restoration. This is for the realignment of your name, your voice, your calling. Because God is not just healing your wounds, He is reclaiming your story. C.S. Lewis in Mere Christianity reflects, "It may be hard for an egg to turn into a bird. It would be a jolly sight harder for it to learn to fly while remaining an egg. Your journey through pain and betrayal has been the breaking of the egg, the shattering of old ties that kept you bound. Now, as heaven unveils the truth and severs those ties, you are being freed to soar into the destiny God has prepared for you, one destiny unburdened by the past. Do not be surprised if people begin to see you differently. Do not be alarmed if you suddenly feel a lifting, a weight coming off your chest, a space opening up around you. That's what happens when heaven removes the cloud of falsehood that has followed you. That's what happens when the truth steps into the room. The exposure of what was done to you is not the end, it is the beginning of your elevation. For while they are being confronted with what they tried to suppress, you are being lifted by the hand of God into visibility, honor, and clarity. This is a holy reversal, a divine turnaround. Those who once saw you as broken will now recognize you as chosen. Those who dismissed your intuition will now marvel at your discernment. And those who played with your heart as if it were disposable will now watch as God places it into the hands of someone sacred, someone ordained, someone new. This is not karma. This is not payback. This is divine justice executed by love, and nothing can stop what heaven has authorized. So lift your head. Stop rehearsing what you would say if you had the chance. You don't need to explain. You don't need to expose. God has already done it for you. And the exposure that is unfolding is not about destroying the myths, about freeing you, freeing your name, freeing your heart, freeing your future from every ounce of spiritual interference. This courtroom has ruled in your favor. And now, elevation will follow. This season is not just about closure, it is about consecration. God is not merely ending a chapter, He is sanctifying the ground you stand on, so that what comes next will not be contaminated by what wounded you before. And that means separation. Holy, unapologetic, irreversible separation. Not just from people, but from soul patterns, from emotional loops, from spiritual entanglements that have kept your heart in exile. You may have loved them, you may have prayed for restoration, you may have even believed it was divine, but heaven sees what you cannot see. Heaven knows what their heart whispered when you weren't around. Heaven saw how they carried your name when you weren't looking. And now, because your calling is too high, your time too near, and your spirit too precious, God is severing what you were never meant to chase again. This is not rejection. This is rescue. You are not losing your soulmate. You are losing the soul tie that kept you bound to a version of love that wasn't whole. The one who betrayed you is not your destiny. They were the lesson, the mirror, the revealer. They were allowed to walk with you only long enough to reflect on what had to be healed inside you. And now they are being dismissed, not by your anger, but by God's authority. Healing is here, and it will come in waves, quiet, sacred, undeniable waves. You will notice the dreams begin to change. The weight on your chest will lift. The anger will melt into clarity. And one day, sooner than you expect, you will wake up and realize you no longer crave what once poisoned you. You no longer grieve what God had to tear away. You will breathe differently, think differently, and yes, you will love differently. Because a new love is coming, a true one, a sacred one, and you will not have to question it, perform for it, beg for it, or break for it. It will feel like home because it was sent by heaven, not manufactured through fear or trauma. But in order for this love to arrive, the space must first be cleared. The residue must be burned off. The old must be released, not mourned, not justified, not clung to, just released. C.S. Lewis, in The Four Loves, writes, "To love at all is to be vulnerable. Love anything, and your heart will be wrung and possibly broken. Your past experiences of love may have wrung your heart, leaving wounds that made you question its worth. But heaven is now severing those painful ties, preparing you for a love that does not break but builds, a love that reflects God's divine intention and restores your soul for the journey ahead. You don't need to prepare yourself for heartbreak anymore. You need to prepare yourself for peace, for joy, for alignment. What's ahead is not a repeat of the past, it's a redemption of what the past tried to steal. This separation is sacred, and on the other side of it is not just healing, it's fulfillment. So don't reopen the door just because someone knocks. Don't respond to emotional echoes that no longer match your assignment. The one who's coming next won't need to convince you. They'll recognize you. They'll guard what God placed inside you. And they will never ever make you question your worth. That's not just a partner, that's a promise. And it's on the way. Now breathe. Let your shoulders relax. Let your chest rise with holy permission. You don't have to carry what heaven has already lifted. You don't have to bleed for what God has already healed. You don't have to mourn for what the angel with the sword has already severed. The war in your soul is over. The spiritual courtroom has closed. And this is the hour of final release. So now, let this not just be a prayer you repeat, but a declaration your soul agrees with. Let these words become the boundary line between who you were and who you are becoming. Speak them aloud, or whisper them in the quiet space where your tears once fell. Either way, let this prayer be your prophetic confirmation. God, I release it all. The grief I didn't understand, the betrayal I didn't deserve, the memories that haunted me in the night, the words that were never said, the closure that never came. I surrender the illusions I built around someone who was never sent to love me rightly. I surrender the guilt that was never mine to carry. I let go of trying to make sense of what was spiritual warfare disguised as romance. I let go of the silence that echoed louder than any goodbye. I no longer agree with the lie that I needed them to be whole. I no longer align myself with sadness as an identity. I choose joy not because the pain didn't happen, but because you have redeemed it. I choose to walk forward, not because I was strong enough, but because you carried me through it. I choose to believe that you are the God who restores what no one else even noticed was broken. So, Father, thank you for sending the angel with the sword. Thank you for severing the soul ties that strangled my destiny. Thank you for protecting me from returning to what would have kept me in cycles of heartbreak. I receive your judgment, not as punishment, but as protection. I receive your verdict not as rejection, but as release. And I receive your love not as theory, but as the atmosphere I now live in. I declare that I am no longer haunted by what happened. I am no longer defined by who left. I am no longer waiting for apologies to validate my discernment. I no longer need to be chosen by those who rejected me. You have chosen me, and that is enough. You have seen me, and that is healing. You have separated me not to punish me, but to position me. 1. And so I open my spirit now. I open my heart without fear. I open my future without hesitation. I receive the new love you are sending, a love that honors my healing, a love that protects my peace, a love that walks in the light, a love that does not confuse me, delay me, or drain me. I am ready not because I rushed, but because you rebuilt me. Let it be done, Lord. Let the past remain closed. Let the door stay sealed. Let what tried to come back find no entrance. Let what is not of you fall away. And let what is ordained by you rise with clarity, beauty, and divine timing. I say yes to the promise. I say yes to the peace. I say yes to the elevation. I say yes to the one you've prepared for me. Amen. And now, beloved, be still. You have done enough. You have cried enough. You have fought long enough in the unseen. Let this silence be your confirmation. Let this peace be your sign. Heaven has already ruled, and what was delayed will now be delivered not by striving, but by alignment. Rest, watch. And when the shift begins to manifest, and it will, you will not have to chase it. You will recognize it. Because what's coming next has your name written on it, in the handwriting of God Himself.